Hello, and welcome to the mass migration exercise. On behalf of the entire team working on this, we appreciate your participation in this exercise. The exercise is a mass migration that follows two rapidly occurring natural disasters in Central America. As a result, surrounding countries have agreed to provide temporary refuge for the people that are dislocated by the disaster. We may occasionally refer to immigrants as refugees, but they are really immigrants. A refugee is a person outside his or her country of nationality who is unable or unwilling to return to his or her country of nationality because of persecution or a well-founded fear of persecution on account of race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion. An asylee is a person who meets the definition of refugee and is already present in the United States or is seeking admission at a port of entry. We recently had Afghan refugees come to Las Cruces. Many of them are still struggling with resettlement organizations that provide them case managers. While a case manager is something we all understand, it is not something those from other countries may understand. The United States will also soon be taking refugees from the Ukraine that are fleeing the ongoing war. Both the Afghans and the Ukrainians are refugees. While in many ways similar to this exercise, it is different. Refugees have access to many resources, including financial assistance, that would not be available to immigrants as a result of a natural disaster. Of course, this ignores all the possibilities that the U.S. can provide waivers, and there are many waivers you can provide to services during a natural or a declared disaster. The camp where everyone is going to be housed is a closed military base in southern New Mexico. There is no such base. It is fictional for this exercise, so don't try to find it on a map. Generally, in a disaster, public health and medical are both part of ESF 8, which is Emergency Support Function number 8. We have a public health tent and a medical tent. This is to help students, especially undergraduates, understand the difference between what is considered medical and what is considered public health. Finally, human services and disaster case management would fall under emergency support function number 6. Again, there is some mixing here of what would occur with refugees and what would happen with a mass migration. We intentionally stayed away from issues that are political in nature. Our goal is to help students learn how they can participate in disaster response. This can best be done by avoiding hotly debated political issues. Now I'm going to tell you the background for the scenario we have created. A massive Category 5, and Category 5 is the highest level of hurricane, hit Central America, causing massive damage in Guatemala and Honduras. Please ignore the fact that this isn't hurricane season. There is some artificiality by moving this exercise to spring. In an exercise that was in person, I would use the season that is hurricane season, and I would use those dates. However, because we are doing this on Moodle or on another online platform, when we put in dates that aren't the current dates, it is very confusing to both the controllers and to the students and all of the players that are playing. So ignore the fact that we are having a massive hurricane and doing an exercise about one that is not during hurricane season. If you occasionally see a date that says October or November, just ignore that. It means I missed it when I was updating information. A second Category 3 hurricane hit the following week, bringing massive flooding to the entire area. Efforts are underway to rescue people and move them to immigrant camps in the U.S. and Mexico. It is expected that between 30,000 and 50,000 people will need to be evacuated. Multiple large camps are being set up in the U.S. that could hold up to 20,000 people. On April 4th at 9 a.m., an unexpected caravan of migrants arrived at the southern border following two hurricanes within 1 week, followed by massive flooding. Immigrant camps are being set up in Mexico, Texas, and New Mexico. In addition to the caravan, there is also an ongoing airlift to evacuate people in areas where all roads have been washed out. It is estimated that as many as 20,000 to 30,000 immigrants could be brought to the U.S. Now we ask ourselves, what do we need to do in New Mexico? What happens now? What actions are taken? Who is contacted? And what will the incident command structure be? These are all things that you will answer during the exercise. And remember, this is not graded. It is an opportunity for you to engage with experts in the field and to try to learn the process. It's okay to be wrong. There will be somebody there to help. The first camp will be on a closed military base in rural New Mexico. Because of the existing infrastructure, including an old hospital, medical clinics, security, and warehouses, it will be ideal. The attached map lays out the area where medical, human services, and the incident command will be located. The only drawback is the lack of housing for volunteers and lack of local residents. The camp can accommodate 10,000 refugees. The first immigrants arrived today and the Southern Baptist Disaster Relief Organization has set up an on-site kitchen until other arrangements can be made. Their Type 1 feeding unit can distribute 20,000 meals a day. They are providing 3 meals a day for refugees and are committed to being in place for at least 1 week. They can add other units if needed. Old barracks are being used for housing. There are no cots at this point, and mattresses are being placed on the floor. There are adequate restroom facilities and clean water. However, as you can see, the mattresses are right up against each other. There are also old hospital and medical facilities, but much of what remains is outdated. The good news is there is still a functioning X-ray machine. The Office of Refugee Resettlement is sending a team to New Mexico to work with the state to help with the process. They should arrive within 8 hours. While technically not refugees, these are the agencies most skilled in this area. It is also the case that some people may seek refugee status as they enter the country. Until they arrive, there is one person from the New Mexico Department of Health Refugee Program and one person from Lutheran Family Services that works with refugees and asylees. so they are well aware of the issues these immigrants face. The exercise will last 7 days, and with the 7th day being a hot wash. The first 2 days, there are 2 injects. That means there are 2 different announcements that will be made to you as the players in this exercise. One to start the day, and the second one will be around 3 p.m. or so. And after day 2, there will only be 1 per day, and that will be in the morning. It is expected that each player will play for about 20 minutes a day. Each tent must submit their report by 6 p.m. so the incident command tent will be able to compile the reports and distribute. What this means to you as players is that if you are in one of the tents, the human services, the public health, or the medical, you're pretty much going to be playing during the day. But if you're in the incident command tent, a lot of your play is going to happen later in the day and in the evening. Everything you will need for the exercise will either be available in your tent, and you can see your assignment in the tent, or in the supplemental information area on Moodle, or Blackboard or Canvas, or whatever learning management system this happens to be in. Controllers are assigned to each area. If you have questions, please check with your designated controller. The discussion boards are meant to include all open discussions. It is the easiest way for the controllers to monitor what you are thinking. Try to keep messages short, more like a text message. It will make it easier to follow. We as controllers will be checking the discussion boards regularly and interacting with you. But if anyone has a question that can't be answered on the discussion board, you have my cell phone number. Feel free to text me. The Medical Reserve Corps across New Mexico will have been notified and are contacting people trained to work with refugees and migrants. They expect to have a team on the ground by 1300 or 1 p.m. Until they arrive, we have a small team and a lot to accomplish. If you will go to your assigned tents, you will find more information on your specific mission for the next 7 days. Each player will be assigned to a tent. Within Moodle, or whatever learning management system you're using, each tent has its own section. At the top, you see the learning objectives. Next, you will have a Word document about the role or roles to be played in the tent. Be sure to read the role document in your tent and look at the slides. If you have any questions, please feel free to either reach out to your controller or text me. The goal is learning about humanitarian disasters. I want you to have fun, I want you to learn, and most of all, I want to thank you for participating.